76, I believe. I think today is 76. It's an acoustic version of my song "The View." I'm currently making like a piano version of it to start playing in streams. Also, so I just don't forget the notes for the song. Oh, good morning, Eusaria. Hello. Oh, Mad Cat. Wow. How are you? How have you been? Oh, hey, Cyber. Go ahead with your question, Mad Cat. Cyber, I was just going to talk about a new method that I'm using for remixes. From now on, I'm going to try to do the same thing I did with the Gucci Gang remix, which is to repurpose the things that I. Oh wow, it's really hazy in my room. Hold on. There we go. Anyways, I'm gonna try to repurpose a lot of the chord progressions and melodies that I use in my remixes now to use in original songs. Some of you may remember that from the Gucci Gang. I pretty much just ripped the entire instrumental of that and turned it into its own original release called Gucci. Um, Last night I took a chord progression that I was using in a Doja Cat remix, and I started turning it into an original song for the future. So I'm going to start doing that just to kind of be more economic with all the stuff that I'm writing, so that I actually am able to release it to some degree, all the stuff that I'm writing. Um, uh, Mad Cat is asking if something is soup. Sorry, let me go up. Is cornflakes soup? No, cornflakes is cereal, Mad Cat. It depends on what your definition of soup is. If you're asking me personally, I, Omni Rutledge, do not consider cornflakes soup. Um, Cornflakes is just a bunch of grain. That's like saying oatmeal is soup. Now, if you're asking if you put cornflakes in a bowl and add milk to it, I guess you can consider that a soup if you think that milk is a good broth for a soup. Eusaria, I'm always working out, but this shirt is just extremely small. I don't know what happened. I feel like I washed it like a million times. It just shrunk recently. Um, Did I do follows? But yeah, I know what you're doing, Mad Cat, because that question gets asked a lot. People say, "Oh, it's cereal soup, isn't it?" When you're thinking about soup, you have to think about broth, right? Soup is about broth. Think about soups across the board and what they have in common as far as broth. A lot of them are very hearty broths. A lot of them are very savory broths. There's not a lot of sweet soup going around. Soup does have defining qualities. It does have things that make it intrinsically soup. Simply taking something that is solid and floating it in a liquid does not make it soup. The ocean is not a soup of ships, is it? So you would take what it is that defines soup. So if you're thinking about soups like ramen, chicken noodle soup, even something like gazpacho, there are savory broths here that are usually made from some type of vegetable base or fat base. You could even look up the definition of what a soup broth is, because a soup is not necessarily made up of the physical objects, well, I guess physical, solid objects in it. It's made up of the liquid. The liquid is what makes something a soup, the broth. If you take the broth out of a soup and you just have noodles, a bowl of noodles, you're not eating noodle soup anymore. They're just noodles. But if you take the noodles out of the noodle soup, you still have soup there. It is soup broth. You think about what the soup broths have in common. Simply pouring a glass of milk does not mean you have a glass of soup broth. Therefore, Mad Cat, cornflakes is not soup. Because if you're floating a bunch of cornflakes in a bowl of milk, it's cornflakes and milk. You have not added a soup broth. I don't say that it needs to be hot, Mad Cat, because like I mentioned before, gazpacho is considered a soup and it is served cold. That is why I mentioned gazpacho. The similar quality here is not the temperature that it is served at, it's that the broth, the defining characteristics of the broth. Cyber says, speaking of soup, I went to P.F. Chang's the other day because they were advertising authentic ramen. It was a huge mistake. Well, I wouldn't go to a place with a Chinese name to get ramen, but I do miss P.F. Chang's. I haven't been to P.F. Chang's in a very long time. The last time that I went to P.F. Chang's was before prom. A friend of mine, it was like a group thing, a friend of mine had the entire group go to P.F. Chang's. I don't talk to any of those people anymore, but that was the last time I went there. Have you ever heard of Payway, Cyber? Last time I went to P.F. Chang's, I got food poisoning. Ay, ay, ay. And you still braved it again. Cyber, about ramen specifically. Payway's great, by the way, but something I realized recently with ramen. I mean, right, the first time that you have ramen, it is one thing. Hopefully, it's not from like a brick, but let's be fair, most people's first time having ramen, especially here in the States, is from like a top ramen brick or like a cup noodle or something. But if you are fortunate enough to be able to go to ramen restaurants, especially some authentic ones, um, especially authentic ones, you get to kind of get a better sense of like, oh, this is what ramen is supposed to taste like, and also hear the different variations of ramen. You got your like tonkatsu ramen, the type that's really really milky. No wait, yes, the type that's really like fatty broth that you can't really see through. It's like an opaque broth. And then there's Tsukumen ramen, which is the type that I prefer. Cyber, yes, very good. And then there's Hakata style ramen, which is like the broth is very light and you can see through it. Like you can see every ingredient in the bowl, through the broth. It's like water. I like them in the order that I listed them in. No, I like Tsukumen style ramen first. I think that's what I would prefer. It's just kind of rarer at least in LA. There's only a few places I know of within driving or subway distance that actually do that. And Tsukumen style is like the dipping style ramen. Usually the broth has been like reduced to some degree, and it's been reduced to some degree, and it's a little bit thicker. And so I said all this to say, Cyber, that what I've realized recently is, and I feel stupid for it taking me this long to realize that, is that the Tsukumen style noodles are different. They are different. And if you go to, like, I used to think to myself, how come I can't just go to any place and they can give me just the broth on the side? Like, why can't every ramen place do Tsukumen style ramen? It should be easy. It's just as simple as taking the two pieces and separating them. And it's not true. It's not true. Because I went to a place recently that tried to do that without having the proper type of noodles for it, and it was a disaster. I feel like the noodles are thicker, not as slippery. I don't know. I'm not a ramen expert, but I know what I like. The thickness of the noodle matters. The thickness of the noodle does matter. I kind of operate on the thicker the noodle, the better for me. Obviously, that puts like udon kind of like on this pedestal way up here because I just prefer eating thicker noodles. Sorry, what a tangent. This song is called Double Lutz. Have I played any new games lately? The last game that I played all the way through was Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. That was the last game I played. That was about almost a month ago now. Maybe 3 weeks ago. Have you played any new games lately, you Sarah? Hollow getting so much better at that song. That song's called Double X. Hollow Knight, I did play. I did beat it. Very fun game. Very difficult at times, but I think I prefer games that are a little difficult. Something sad for me, anyways, about games like Hollow Knight, games, I mean, that are very, very vast, right? Like, you can play them for 50, 60 hours and still be uncovering things, is that once I'm in them, I'm completely in them, I'm playing them every day, but the second I, like, beat it, or I take an extended break, I can't get back into it. I did turn on Hollow Knight, I think, like 3 months ago or so, and I was trying to like, oh, maybe I should play like or beat the optional bosses, but I had forgotten so much about like that game and the characters' names and where things were and like the deep lore that it was just too. It was prohibitively intimidating to try to get back into it. But I do love that game. That game's a lot of fun. I like the music at times in it, and some of the boss battles, none of which I'll get into for spoilers' sake, but some of the boss battles were like horribly fun, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if you played games like Dark Souls or Sekiro or anything like that, Bloodborne, but sometimes a game can be really, really hard and still be fun. Like, losing can be fun. Losing can be fun because you feel like you're learning. Losing can be fun because you feel like you were bested. I talk about this a lot when I talk about fighting games. Mostly this is with playing against other human beings. But there's a way to lose and want to try again. Something about a game over screen or about getting killed in a game can make you, or let me not project, can make me want to turn the console off, complain, or it can make me happy because I know what to do or I know what not to do. Losing is fun when it's fair, says Cyber. I agree. I think that there are times where I've played through a game like, even like Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight did have some hiccups there, but like there's been times where I've played through a game like Hollow Knight or Sekiro or Bloodborne, any of these types of games, and I have died in a way that, one, either made no sense, or two, like, you know when you die in a game and you're just dumbfounded? You're like, oh, so that's a thing I couldn't block, or oh, so that's a thing that just kills me in one hit, or oh, I can't walk there, or oh, there's a trap there, like, stuff like that. I'm not really into deaths like that. The deaths that I'm into, the deaths that I'm into, the death that I'm into is when I'm learning, like and not learning in like, oh, I guess that was just a cheap thing, I can't stand there anymore. I like it when I'm learning in a way of like, oh, a boss bested my defense, or was able to get through my defenses, or I wasn't able to evade something quick enough. And I think to myself, oh, okay, this is the opening of the boss. Or, oh, okay, this is the way I can kill these things in 2 hits instead of chipping away at them. Here's how I can get behind them, etc., etc., etc. Hollow Knight did that a lot, where especially like towards the end, towards like a lot of like the harder bosses, even though I was dying again and again, like 20, 30 times in a row, I still felt like I was improving, like I was getting better. Every time I went into the boss battle, I felt like I was getting a little bit further into the fight. Granted, I mean, there are sometimes when you're just careless, or maybe when you're greedy. You know you can fit in about 3 hits in a boss's opening, but you don't want the fight to take as long, so you try to squeeze in a 4th hit, and maybe it works the first time, but you know it was a big risk, so you keep trying to squeeze in 4 hits, and then one time you end up paying for it. High risk, high reward type thing. Anyway, Cyber says, games that kill you a lot by design, as long as they respond back into the action quickly for the sake of learning, is okay for me. Oh. You just don't like it when you die and you have to like do a lot of like trekking to get back up to. I mean, I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Sekiro had a few times like that. And yes, the greed can sometimes kill you. But Sekiro did have a few times like that where I would die in a fight, and then I would kind of, the screen goes black, and I'm like, wait, where is it going to put me? Where is it going to respond me? And then I'm like back a little bit further than I would have liked to have been. Or maybe I'm in like the 3rd phase of the boss fight, and I die, and I'm like, it's not going to make me fight through the first 2 phases, is it? And it does. It makes you fight through the first 2 phases. The final boss was like that in Sekiro. I mean, any boss has several forms, right? I haven't been on your streams lately, and I can't stay for long again, but your music is amazing. Thank you, Akashi. Oh, I remember you. How have you been? It's February now. Goodness gracious. Good morning. Good morning. This song is called Love Letters. Animal Crossing Crossing completely destroyed me, says Cos. Oh, I forgot there was an Animal Crossing Direct yesterday. How'd that go? Cool things get announced, Cos? Hello, Mats. How much did you miss? Are you talking about the streams or the Animal Crossing Direct? Because I can only answer one of those. Oh, the stream. Goodness, how long have you been gone, Mats? Because you might have not missed that much. Wow, you were in the stream really early, Sarah. I forgot anybody was around that heard me playing the video. That song's called Love Letters. It was written for nobody in particular. Everyone is doing well, I hope. Everyone is doing well, I hope. Today is Thursday. Today is Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday. And I got all my work done. Room piano. Whoa. It's nice to have you back, Jelly Star. How's Hotbot? I'm most curious about the shirt. Um, Tirivache. Tirivache. Tirivache? How's my memory doing? The shirt is a shirt for a band called Gorillaz. And I bought it at Hot Topic back when that was a thing I used to do with my money. And it shrunk significantly this year. I've washed it a million times and it's never shrunk. And then this time it shrunk and it also got kind of warped. Like it's supposed to be more like that. It got like twisted. Anyways, I think I'm gonna have to throw it out because I feel like an idiot in it. I feel like I like Tom Hanks big. Oh, cool. I remember Tirivache's name. Internet companies won't run lines for me in the middle of nowhere, says Euceria. Well, my internet company is Spectrum, and it's always trash. In fact, when I do my streams, I always do it off of my my data, because I do have unlimited data, and it's actually faster than the internet. in my home. Oh, thanks, you, Sarah. This shirt's not very comfortable for me. I feel like I'm being hugged, which sounds comforting. It sounds comforting. I don't know why it's not. Word as a lounge. At least that's what I do with my old tees. This is not a bad idea. Maybe for like a cleaning the bathroom shirt. How am I gonna release this song? I have an old Death Note shirt from the 2000s or something. Oh, that's kind of cool. 2X. I mean, extra larges look good on people though. Yeah, I don't think they look good on me either. I don't wear very big shirts. Alright, this song is called Over and Under. No date yet for the merch. I'm sorry, Cyber. I'm dead for a bit, but headed to sleep. Have a good stream. Oh, goodbye, so. I'm gonna message you tomorrow. If I can remember the time difference in Japan. I'll try to message you at a time that's not inconvenient. I actually got to meet Sev. I don't know if Sev's still here, but I actually got to meet Sev 2 years ago in 2018 when I went to Japan on tour. And Sev was so nice and showed me around the like area that they live in Japan, which was a little bit of a ways away from Tokyo. And he took me to a dollar store. Wow, this is actually a really nice story. He took me to a dollar store in this mall where I got to buy these Argyle socks that were $1. They were only $1 for Argyle socks, which is very, very hard to find here in the States, so I bought a bunch of them. And they were these like I think it was like a sweet potato. They keep this sweet potato in just like this hot cart, and he bought one for me, and it's weird. I don't know. I don't just eat sweet potatoes, but I don't know what they did to this thing, but it's just different. It's really good. It's almost like candy. Anywho, it was a really really good day, and then he took me to a arcade, and I got to play this really weird rhythm game that I sucked at, but I got to play it, and oh my goodness, Seb's gone, but Seb's a really great person, and that was a really good day. Thank you, Seb, for that. Anyways, Jellystar's gotta go. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your hot pot, Jellystar. Thank you for being around as much as you can be. What's the rhythm game called? I don't remember. I don't remember Cyber. I don't remember what it was called, but it was the circle one. It was the one where it's just a big circle. You know what I'm talking about? And you have to like hit the little things. Anywho, oh, hotspot. I'm sorry, Shelly Star. Holy crap. Oh, please, let's talk soon. Um, bye now. Okay, what was I saying? Um, I wasn't saying anything. This song's called Spring Street. So, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, I do a lot of remixes, or at least I did. And a little of a crash course on copyright law for some of you guys that don't understand. A lot of people will say things like, Omni, how come your Bad and Bougie remix or your Gucci Gang remix isn't on Spotify? Please upload it to Spotify. Hope to see this remix on Spotify soon. And the reason for that is just because there's a thing called copyright law, which means that I can't profit off of material or art that I do not have the license for. And I don't have the license for the vocals of all those remixes that I make. So while it's okay for me to make them and put them on SoundCloud or YouTube or whatever, I just can't profit from them. And the mere act of putting it on Spotify would mean that I was getting some profit, even if it was very little. So what usually happens with those remixes is that it's kind of this focus on a lot of original musical material that doesn't actually get to be released in any official way. So my remedy to that is to take the remixes, the popular remixes that I make, and repurpose a lot of those chord progressions and a lot of those melodies into original works, just so that the music isn't completely wasted on a song that's never really going to see the light of day outside of social media. So the first time I did this was with the song Gucci, which is the instrumental from my remix of Gucci Gang by Lil Pump. And just today, I have a remix of a Doja Cat song that isn't released, but I'm already using the chords from it to make an original song, which I'm kind of happy about. And I'm gonna try to do that a little bit more often. I think one of the weirdest things for me as an artist is that I do make a lot of music, but I don't release a lot of music, if that makes sense. Well, I release a lot of music depending on who you ask. But comparatively to how much music I make, I don't really release that much. And what I mean when I say that is like, I have this song that I'm playing right now, right, is kind of a little an acoustic version of Spring Street. It's not released. There's a lot of other songs that I play in the stream that aren't released. And it's just because I haven't gotten around to recording them. There's also remixes that I've made that aren't released. There's also Instagram video things that I've made. Good morning, Leanne. Leanna is in here. There's also Twitter video things that I haven't released. What? It's a beautiful chord. Anyways, there's also things like, if you remember the video that I made that was like a Steve Harvey video. It was just a video making fun of Steve Harvey talking on his show. I put some music over it. That's on YouTube. And the music from that video will never be released. I also have a video where I make a song around Tisa Korea and rapping in the middle of the street. That'll never be released. I also have a video of chords that I put together behind that guy on the subway screaming for help from the police. That song will never be released because they're not real songs. They're kind of just jokes or exercises. And I think I had a thought last night where it's like, I make roughly 3 songs a month at the least. At least 3 songs a month. And those songs are going to jokes, they're going to commissions for somebody's YouTube, I'm making music behind somebody else's meme that they're making, or I'm making music for the game that I'm currently working on the score of. I have a lot of like, oh, and The Devil Stole is another one, Cyber. I have a lot of songs that I'm making every month, but they're usually being repurposed for like jokes or for commissions or for scoring stuff, and not necessarily for my own albums or my own releases. And I think that I would like to, in order to be more efficient, take a lot of those joke things and turn them into real songs, and not just let those cool chords or cool ideas kind of collect dust in a place where I can't perform them live or get any money from them or express myself artistically through them, and I often end up forgetting them for this exact reason. Okay, so the GIFT, what that spell is what I was talking about earlier, where that is Tisa Korean rapping in the stream. Tisa, Tisa Korean. Tisa Korean is a rapper out of Houston? Dallas? One of the two. Definitely in Texas. Um, and yeah, I made chords behind that, and that's never going to be in anything. It's just a joke. I can't remember what the other chord was. I remember that chord though. Anyways, that never is going to get released to any degree unless I take that and I turn it into an actual song. So, um, what I'm doing. Oh, cause please go listen to that video because the full version of that is in that video. But point I'm making is the announcement for today's stream is that I'm going to be repurposing a lot of the chord progressions and melodies from remixes and jokes that I've made to actually put into songs. Because sometimes I'll be sitting at the keyboard and I'm like, oh, I have writer's block. I wish that I could come up with an idea. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on like 50 ideas that are just kind of committed to jokes. The listener can reconstruct the song while they play your instrumental. Word. Word up. That'd be fun. Now you guys can participate at home. Oh, okay. Okashi is for sure leaving this time. It was a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you all for the piano pops on me. You're welcome. I might join later in the cafe that sells cherry macaroons is open. Cherry macaroons. Interesting. Tirivage, yes, it is a good way to overcome the block. I got over the block. I mean, one, I had a moment. I had an isolated moment, possibly, of inspiration yesterday in which I came up with this chord progression. No, this chord progression. In a song because that was going to be a joke. I was going to do that for a joke or a remix, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this an original song. And then there's this was another one. These are all on my Instagram story. I have to like say the prompts in my head, so I apologize for that if it's annoying. I wore that gorilla shirt the other day. I hope yours fit better than mine does. the second half of that. I haven't recorded the second half of that, but I do like the first half. And that's the one that's from the Doja Cat remix. How much time do we have left? We have 20 minutes. I can show you the projects if you would like to see them. And the thing that's funny is, okay, so I only know so many chords, right? I only know so many chords. If you guys remember my remix of Mark Redito's uh, Everything Was Alright, it goes. There it is. I'm starting over. This is a very weird chord, but I don't need to explain it to you guys. So I took those chords and I jumbled them around to make this. It's just this chord, this chord, this chord, this chord, this chord, this chord, and this chord. So I just like mixed them around. I don't know. A lot of my songs are chords that I have played in other songs. I've just kind of gotten used to playing. Like, don't get me started on that one. That chord progression is in everything. Kid James, you made it. Oh, welcome back. We have 20 minutes. That's in everything. So that is in keyline. Whatever. So right there. It's also in Catching Up. If you take away the melody, it's just which is the same as keyline. Catching Up. What other song is that? It's also on Beneath the City. If you go, it goes. I threw in a third chord in there. I mean, a fourth chord. So instead of going, it goes. But generally, I'm using the same four chords for key lime, Beneath the City, key lime, Into Thin Air, and Catching Up. Now, we're going to go over a couple of ideas that I have. And we're going to try to do it really quickly because we only have 15 minutes left, so allons-y, baby. Let's see. This is where I work when this is where I sit when I work on music. Isn't that exciting, everybody? These are my tools. Oh, this is not a gear chord at all, but we can do that really quick. So this is the keyboard that I use for, I'm recording a lot of like the piano and the Rhodes sounds that you hear in the music. This is my Akai Fire. It's a drum sequencer. I also use it kind of as just I use it as a spectrogram. It tells me when things are peaking. And this is my micro Korg. It's an analog synth. That's the only analog synth that I have. It also has a vocoder on it, which is what this little mic is for here. So I use that for a lot of the like robotic vocals on my songs. If you've heard my song Atlantis, you are well aware of the robotic sounds I am talking about. So I was going to go over the repurposing of oh my god, I was going to go over the repurposing of the Doja Cat song. So give me 2 seconds to pull it up. While I'm doing that, though, you can actually see what my workstation looks like on Fruity Loops. If I can figure out how to make this thing stop looking at my face. All right. So this is Fruity Loops. This is the program that I make music in. This is where all of the songs that I make are. And this is the sequencer that mirrors this thing. Give me 1 second. So I'm gonna go into remixes. There's a lot of remixes in here, and then there's a Doja Cat one. Wow, am I blind? Where are you, baby? Oh, it's under Say So because that's the name of the song. My bad. It's not under the name. Let's see. I need a better. Yeah. There's a Billie Eilish remix in here, Mobtown. Um. Do 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 do. Okay. Remind me later. Wow, I just got a really mean message. When I'm streaming, my text will like pop up on the phone screen, and somebody just said something really mean to me. Okay, so this is the Doja Cat remix. Why don't you say so? Didn't even notice. No punches that to roll with. Don't like to keep it focused. Don't wanna say so. Now I'm so sure. Do it coming at yourself? Do it really put yourself? Tell me what must I do? I wanna look at me and stop chasing. And we can't dance all day around me. So the chords are. Wait, what are the chords? Why don't you say so? Didn't even notice. No punches that to roll with. Don't like to keep it focused. Don't wanna say so. Now I'm so sure. So those chords? Those ones? I'll go to them again real quick. Now I'm so sure. Do we come in yourself? Do we really do yourself? So I wanted to use those in a different song because I'm going to put this remix out eventually, but when I put it out, I'm not going to be able to put it on like Spotify and stuff like that because I don't own the rights, obviously, to Doja Cat. Now I'm so sure. Do we come in yourself? Do we really do yourself? Tell me what must I do? I wanna look at me and stop chasing. And I can't dance all day around me. If you find it, I'll be bouncing. If you want me, screaming, shouting, babe. Oh my God, why are you peeking? Chill. And I wanted to put a lead over it, which is the wood panel lead, which sounds like that. So try to remember those chords, these ones. Oh, sorry, it's too quiet now. Because I want to use those chords in this song. This song, which is untitled. Hold on. Oh my God. Why is it panned slightly? That's weird. I'll figure that out at a different time. This is not the song. This is the wrong song. But this song also has so the chord progression that I was coming up with. Doesn't it sound like a Moog? Doesn't it sound like a Moog? Isn't that wild? Okay, so the chord progression that I was playing earlier that I think Cause said that they liked, which was. I wanted to put on this, but I wanted to do that thing where this is like the funniest image, by the way. It's just like of me at the thing, and like my bed's a freaking nightmare, and I'm dressed like a freaking bum. Anyways, I wanted to put that chord progression in the song, but I wanted to do the thing where I had the build up of not atonal music, but the build up of like if you've heard a song, sometimes songs will have the absence of a chord progression. They'll just kind of have a groove. That way, when the chord progression comes in, it's kind of like a release. So this is the like the groove, and the bass is just doing. The bass is just this. That's what I recorded. I put a filter on it, so you can hear it like filtering in, but it's that keyboard, which I just realized I should probably save that. So then I would put the chords over this part coming up. But then it would go back into the groove. But I thought about putting piano chords here, like really like ambient ones that go in the background, stuff like that, like really dissonant chords. But I don't know. I'm gonna stick with it. I think that in the groove part, the part you know what part I'm talking about, the groove part where I was just doing the really dissonant chords. I need to figure out a good chord progression to go there, but I want something that doesn't detract or distract from the the chords that come in the second half. Those ones. Mm. And so that's not the point that I hope that you guys can remember the Doja Cat chords. Remember the Doja Cat chords? The do you remember that? I could play it again. It's just that I'm running low on time. Those arpeggios Omni is using reminds me of a shoot 'em up. There's this game called, oh my god, Mushihi Mesama. Oh, I butchered that. I'm sorry, by a company called Cave. It's about a bug princess, and the music has a same spacey quality. Word. Oh my god, somebody knows the game. I would like to play this game. Where can I play this game? Is this it's like a is it an arcade game? Can I play it on my computer? Really quickly though, these were the chords for the Doja Cat remix. I'll mute the chords really quick so I can play them, so you can see what I'm talking about. Yo, I love those chords. Anyways, I'm thinking about putting those chords in this new song that I started. That I did remember to save last night. This one. Oh, and again, the chords. This one, I played this one over there at the window too. This one is 10. This one is this one. That one. So it's the same chords. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is I want to show those chords from the Doja Cat remix. I want to build into it. I want to make that like the hook of this song, the chorus of this song. And if you remember the chords of that, they were this. So I want it to basically build like this. I want it to go. Something like that. I don't know if the chords, if the last two chords that I played like lead back into the chorus, into the hook, I mean, or the verses, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter. Music structure doesn't matter. But I want to know if they fit in there. And also all of these songs I'm trying to write in 1:30 and make them under 4 minutes. So hopefully that works out. Also, because those chords are from that Doja Cat remix that I played earlier in the stream, I would like to be able to get some type of money or original release out of these ones. When I say money, I don't really mean like cash. There's this really weird. I feel like I throw around the term money, and my friends know what I mean. Money is like, when I say money, what I mean is progress, right? Like that's money. Even like I can make no money and still get money, if that makes sense. Oh my god, I'm not trying to make this a deep dive into my terminology and what I say, but I'm glad you've heard it before, Cyber. But somebody else, like a month ago, like got on me about that. They were like, "Yo, you played that for, or you did that job for free. There was no money." And I was like, "No, no, no. I mean, yeah, I didn't get paid cash, but like, I got money for that. Trust me, they won't be hearing the last of me." Anyways, I would like to be able to get money from these chords because currently these chords only exist in that Doja Cat track, which is going to go on Twitter, maybe Instagram, maybe I'll do a cool video for it, but I can't really put that anywhere. I can't really put my name, my stamp on that because it's a Doja Cat melody, and lyrics. So, I'm going to do a really quick look into some of the things that I did in this track, in the actual project file, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. So, wish me luck and speed because we're already 2 minutes over. Okay. Again, this is what my workstation look like. Let me make it a little bit bigger. I'm not going to be able to fit in the entirety of it, but that's okay. So this is all of my drums. I always put my drums on the top. My drums typically are black, black, or at least monochromatic, black, white, gray, etc. And then we get into some of the more nitty gritty stuff down here. This song is actually very sparse right now because I'm going to add lyrics. And also, I started making this song last night. This song didn't exist yesterday. I started this song around 9 p.m. So it is still very empty. But I'm just going to go over the pieces of it really, really quickly because I do layers. So, layer number 1 is the piano chords, right? Because we went over those. Let's talk about the piano chords. Oh crap, those aren't piano chords. Oh, let's play the piano. So you saw me play that on the piano. So those are the piano chords. Weird that you don't use the blocks instead for drums, but that's my opinion. I do use the blocks for drums. What are you talking about? That's what these are. These are blocks. See? Blocks, blocks, blocks. Oh, are you talking about the intro thing? Yeah. That's because this is like something that I recorded. But yeah. If you look at like the other drums, like the small snare, they're still in blocks. Yeah, it's on the pattern. It's on the pattern. This is the pattern. You can see it. Can you see it? Guys, can they see it? See that? See that little thing moving around? See those patterns? They're right here. See them lighting up? Ooh, they're having a good time. Thanks, Cyber. I don't know if Mobtown can see them, but yeah, the drums are still on the pattern. No, I mean the thing. What thing? This thing? Is that the thing? Do you mean that thing? Do you mean this thing? God, I love the way they flash like that. I forget what it's called. Huh. You forgot what it's called. A drum rack? Are you talking about a drum rack? I use a sequencer. I bought a sequencer. I use a sequencer to make drums. That's what drum sequencing. This little guy, this little thing is for sequencing drums. Pattern select. This is a pattern select. Y'all. What? Oh, wait. What are you talking about? I got a screenshot. What are you talking about? Pattern select. Are you just talking about drums? This is where the drums are. This is the drum. This is a drum. I'm clicking it. That's the sound it makes. Why are you trying to send me stuff on Twitter? What are you talking about? Pattern select. Pattern select? Piano roll. Channel rack. Play up. What? This is a, this is the pattern. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. It's fine. Me and Mob, we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out when it's not on everybody else's time. Okay, so this is a piano. It's that. Yeah, it sounds exactly the same. You know why it sounds exactly the same? Is because this is plugged into my computer with this little cable right here. I'm so sorry, Mob. I'm not trying to frustrate you. We're gonna get to the bottom of it. I promise. I promise you. I promise you that. Also, what else is built into this song? There's a bass. That's right. You guessed it. This is the bass line. I'm just gonna unmute the claps really quick because it sounds ridiculous without any type of percussion. You get the idea. Just kind of keep doing that over and over. But then I also added a bass guitar note. So a lot of these notes are muted. I'm just gonna erase the muted notes. You don't need to apologize, Mob. You're great. You're great. In fact, I'm just glad that anybody uses FL Studio and knows the right questions to ask. You just had me confused on my own process. I thought maybe I was tripping out. Maybe I am tripping out. I don't know. But this is the bass guitar. It just does little like stabs, so it goes in between the bass notes. Looks like this. Then there's nothing there. And then it comes back here. Then again. I mean, these things look like really like stupid and simple by themselves, but they're supposed to be a small part of a whole. A small part of a whole is my whole thing with music. It's not making a whole song out of 4 parts, but it's making a whole song out of like 32 small parts instead of 4 big parts. Okay, what else do we have? We have brass stabs. That's right, brass stabs. Brass is from this keyboard. I recorded it in here, which is why it looks like a wave and not as MIDI, and it sounds like this. It just does that. That's it. I put some reverb on it to make it sound like more real. And if you listen really closely, it actually is in conjunction with the bass notes. And it happens again here, conjunction with the bass notes. It is very hard to make sure all 32 parts go well together, T. Rivache. You're absolutely right, and that is why making music is a nightmare for me half the time. So we've got our brass, we've got our piano, we've got our bass, we've got our bass guitar. Now, you guys know, or some of you will know if you listen to my music, that I love woodwinds. I love woodwinds, glockenspiels, bells, xylophones, celesta bells, strings, and brass, but I like woodwinds to play with each other. If you look really closely, I have a flute here, and I have a piccolo. They're both played staccato style, so this is what the flute line sounds like. That's it. That's all of the flute. It sounds like this. If you want to see the MIDI notes for the flute, they're right here. And it looks like this. Oop. That's it. But I also layered it with a piccolo because, again, layers are very important to me. And this is what the piccolo sounds like. It's pretty much the same. Oh, whoa. Is there no reverb on the piccolo? Hold on. Hold on, guys. Wow, there's no reverb on the piccolo. That can't be. Let me just fix that really quick. Put some reverb on that baby. Okay, this is what the piccolo sounds like. Ah, perfect. And then together with the flute. Is it that necessary? Is it changing the entire fabric of the song to have a piccolo and a flute play together? No, not really. But there's something almost tangible about having, instead of just a string pad playing 8 notes at the same time, having a violin play those notes, and then having a cello play those notes, and then having a flute play those notes. You diversify the different instruments playing notes, because different instruments have different timbres, which I'm not going to get into because we're already 11 minutes over, but maybe I'll get into that next stream. Different instrument hitting the same notes does not make the same sound. Yes, it makes the same pitch, but it does not make the same sound. And even if you combine a bunch of different notes, a bunch of the same note, but with different sounds, you can create harmony. A different type of, oh man, I'm not going to get into this. Somebody keep me on track, please. Do you orchestrate Omni, says Mance? I do orchestrate, Mance. Okay. And then I put this down here too. It's just a guitar riff. I mean, it's not even a riff. It's just one note. That's it. And that's also from this keyboard. There's no actual guitar. It's just a keyboard guitar, but it does that. And so if you put together all those pieces, just this little section with the flute sounds like this. So it's a little bit more complex because there's a lot of small pieces that are all put together. This is another thing that I put in the very beginning. It's 3 exhaust, which is if you use FL Studio, you know, it's the free, very, very simple synth that comes with it. All I did was take a few notes and split them apart, and I put some delay on it, and I also put some reverb on it, and it sounds like this. So there is delay on it, which is where that repeating effect is coming from. It only plays once. Again. Okay, and so that plays at the beginning of each measure, and it sounds like this. Now, there's a thing called Fuji stabs. I named this patch Fuji stabs a very, very long time ago when I had dreams of playing in Japan one day. I have played in Japan now at this point, but I still have this one patch called Fuji stabs that I use a lot. If you've heard my song called The View that came out yesterday, this patch is used in that song. It sounds like this. And I've just plugged these notes in with a mouse. I did not play these notes in MIDI, which is why they're all perfectly cut, and which is why their velocity is all the same. I just made this with a mouse. The little stabs there. And then the second time, I have the stabs slightly altered and lengthened, so the riff goes like this. And then the first one, again, sounds like this. So all of that put together sounds like what you heard earlier. To put those Doja Cat chords in there though. I want them to come in at that part. The only problem is it takes me a little while to get to that part. I'm trying to keep the song under 4 minutes when the song. Oh wow, thank you, Cyber. Sorry, I didn't see that. Looks like I'm eating a big sandwich again today. Did you know footlongs are like almost $10 now? I mean, I don't go to Subway. This is all hearsay, by the way. I don't go to Subway. Somebody told me that that was what they were doing now with their prices. I had no idea. Okay, everybody, it's time to go over a little bit of news. I have two albums out. One is called Quick Breath. The other one is called Megadeth. Megadeth. Let me just slow down for a second. I have two albums out. One is called Quick Breath. I worked very hard on it. It features some very talented artists. One named Mia Gladstone and the other one named Abby Press. I also have another body of work called Ego Death, which features Young Skirt and Young Skirt only. The other artist is just me making all of it. Ego Death is a little bit more ambient, really like chill, sadder music, more emotional music. And then Quick Breath is a little bit more upbeat. It's like I was in like a vibe. I was in a weird vibe last year where I was like trying to do a lot of like house, but very, very chill, like Rhodes piano house. Kind of like the same stuff that I made for the Bad and Bougie remix. If you remember that. Also for the Gucci Gang remix. I was trying to get more of that like soulful but still house and dancey vibes. As you can see, this body of work is leaning more towards, I mean, still that housey, dancey vibe, but less soulful and more funky, disco adjacent. That makes sense? Anywho, listen to those two albums. They are available on SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal Grove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. We're on YouTube right now, so you can check those things out there if you would like. As far as merch, the merch is coming still, but I don't have a date on it. I am very sorry about that. It's taking a lot longer than I previously had thought it would. And there's going to be stickers as well as t-shirt, though. I know this much. As far as shows, I'm not allowed to talk about any of the shows that I do have coming up, but just so you know, there are some shows coming up. I did release a new song yesterday called The View. It's on a collection with Attack the Music, a compilation that they just put out. I got to be featured on with some artists that I'm actually a pretty big fan of. There's an artist that goes by Day Mouse, who was an artist that I listened to a lot when I was a lot younger, when I was still living in Arizona. And the idea that I actually get to share a space with Day Mouse is actually a big honor for me. So, go listen to that song when you get the chance. It is on Bandcamp. The View by Omniboy. Also, the streams, guys, they happen here every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Today was Thursday. It is Thursday, sorry. And so the stream did start on time at 9 a.m. this morning. So for everybody that was on time, Usaria, I think, got in very early. I appreciate you guys for giving me so much of your time, whether it was an hour or even 15 minutes. I won't give some people 15 minutes. I don't give some people 5 minutes. So the fact that you guys give me that much is very, very nice and very generous of you. The song that I'm playing right now is called Hush Hour. I wrote it when I was abroad, and it's the song that I usually use to end the streams. Oh wow, thank you for the money. That's like real money. It's not the weird spiritual money I was talking about earlier. I'm sorry that you won't be able to come into it tomorrow, but I hope that you have a good day anyway. Tomorrow's Friday. Should be a good day. If you had a question in the stream that I wasn't able to get to, ask it really quick while I'm doing this. Or say something really quick while I'm doing this last song. Because I know I was pretty distracted with Fruity Loops. Mobtown just says my bad. Don't you worry about Mobtown. I don't even know what you're apologizing for. Hope you have a good one in the cause. Can I ask how far the shows are planned for, like, a general time period from now? Mid to late spring into the summer, Cyber. Nothing's happening too soon right now. Spring, summertime. Enjoy the footlong, says Liam. What a nice thing to say. What a lovely thing to say to me. I'm not going to be getting any footlongs. That was mostly a joke, but I will get a sandwich. I can afford one now, thanks to Cyber and Usaria. Can't wait for those lovely bops to release. Me neither, cause can't wait for these lovely bops to finish, assuming that they'll come out at all. Wouldn't that be a tragedy if they never came out? If I died tomorrow and then they only existed in the context of this morning medley? Thank you everybody for being respectful to me and polite to each other. It's more than I can ask for. But you guys give it to me anyway, and I appreciate that. Really quick, I'll leave you guys on this. I don't know a lot about I don't know a lot about music theory. This is covered, but there is a thing in music theory called resolving, which is getting back to the one chord. There's a lot of mumbo jumbo about that I don't quite understand. Like that kind of has a feeling of like resolution. It's going somewhere. A lot of times when I'm just riffing and I'm playing chords at the end of the stream, I'm trying to resolve and I don't know how. So I'm just playing chords until it sounds like that sounds kind of like a result. So I just try to like bumble my way into a resolution. Anywho, again, thank you guys for being respectful to me and polite to each other. I will see you in tomorrow's morning medley, which will be the last one of the week, remember. I won't be saying Usaria, but hopefully the rest of you can make it in. Abo, everybody. Mm-hmm.